The pace of change in educational tech is just, well, it's incredibly fast, isn't it? From chalkboards to interactive screens, it feels like light years. Today, we're digging into how this looks specifically in Finnish early childhood and basic education.
We're using the 2025 report as our guide. It's packed with insights from surveys, interviews, really getting the view from schools themselves, education providers, principals, teachers, the lot.
And our mission here is to unpack the key findings for you. How are schools managing this digital shift? What hurdles are they hitting? And where are things headed? Let's kick off with strategic leadership. How planned is all this?
Well, it seems everyone agrees having a digital strategy is important at the municipal level. That's clear. But how these strategies actually get put into action and who's really in charge, that varies quite a lot.
Not entirely consistent.
Not really. You often have teams developing them, administration leaders, ICT folks, sometimes principals join in. But the report mentions that, a fair number of providers and principals feel their own strategy needs clarifying.
Interesting. What are the core goals of these strategies, generally speaking?
It's about giving students the digital skills they need for life, for further study, equal footing for everyone. So they focus on student skills, teacher training, getting the infrastructure right, and of course, keeping the digital environment safe. Skill calendars. They map out the skills students should pick up. They're often baked into the strategies or the local curriculum. But tracking if students are actually hitting those markers, that's still a bit inconsistent.
Right. Let's shift to the actual digital environment, the tech itself, hardware, networks.
Generally, the hardware situation in schools seems satisfactory. That's what the report says. The trickier parts are figuring out which apps and learning platforms to adopt and making sure everything meets legal requirements. That needs clear guidance.
And connectivity, Wi-Fi and all.
Most schools have wireless. About 70% of upper secondary schools even have guest access. And principals generally feel the network capacity is sufficient.
What about devices? The classic one-to-one debate.
Some push for every student having a device. Others think a mix of different types is better. You see a lot of Chromebooks in secondary. iPads are quite common in early years. Oh, and most schools limit kids using their own phones during the school day.
Okay, what about the teachers navigating all this tech? How's the support looking?
There's a definite need for targeted training, yes, but also for that day-to-day, how do I do this kind of help. There's some concern because national funding for that sort of in-service training has ended.
So who provides the support now?
Tutor teachers or specific ICT pedagogues, they provide that digital pedagogical support. But their roles, how they're funded, it varies. Finding time and money for proper teacher training remains, a challenge.
What tools and services are actually common in classrooms?
And you have things like Wilma and Primus, pretty standard for records and communication. About a quarter of municipalities use these digital desktop things to centralize access to services, learning environments. Google Classroom, Microsoft Teams are popular.
Anything more cutting edge, like VR or robots?
VR and AR. Still quite limited use, maybe cost, maybe finding good content. Robots, though, are surprisingly common, especially in early childhood and primary. And 3D printers pop up more as kids get older. Buying new digital stuff can be slow, though. Lots of cost reviews and impact checks.
And the elephant in the room, AI. How are Finnish schools approaching it?
Very early days. Exploration, basically. Some guidelines are appearing, pilot projects starting up. A few municipalities have drafted AI rules for teachers, thinking about how it could work in class. But age restrictions are a factor for students under 18 with some AI tools. Teachers are asking for training, definitely. They see the potential, but also perhaps the complexity.
How about using all the data generated by these digital tools, learning analytics?
It's patchy. Some teachers use it if they're personally interested, but systematic school-wide use, not really happening yet. Managing the data, pulling insights from different systems, those are hurdles.
Which brings us neatly to data protection and security. A major task, I imagine.
Huge. Implementing all the data protection rules, cybersecurity, it's a big job for municipalities. Often with limited resources and time, and keeping up with changing regulations is tough. There's a wish for things like standard templates for data agreements to simplify things. IT departments handle breaches, and some places run cyber attack drills.
Sounds like collaboration is key then.
Absolutely. Regional networks, local groups sharing best practices, offering support, they're vital. They even collaborate on regional curricula and digital strategies sometimes.
Okay, so pulling it all together, digitalization is moving forward in Finnish schools, but it's not without its challenges.
Definitely. Key areas are making sure strategies are clear and actually implemented, giving teachers consistent practical support, really using data effectively, and carefully navigating new tech like AI. And all that while keeping data secure and ensuring everyone gets a fair shot.
So here's something to think about for you listening. The report suggests we have more digital tools available, right? But effectively weaving them into teaching and truly understanding their impact on learning. That seems to be the next big step. What do you think is essential to bridge that gap? How do we really unlock the power of EdTech? Something to ponder as these trends continue globally.